Hey guys, I did an estate sale this weekend, and the estate sale that I did was in mid Grand Prairie, kind of in the middle area. Just a basic house in that area. It wasn't, just average size house, like 1,500 square feet. And I did this estate sale. And one thing that as a realtor, I don't always do the sale of the home after I do the estate sale. But in this particular situation, me and the owner had discussed, does she want me to sell the house? Because she had said, hey, you're a realtor as well. I said, yeah, I am. And I don't even bring it up most of the time until like we're already deep into it. And, because I always do want to ask people, like, what do you want me to tell them about the sale of the house? Because I said, I guarantee we'll have people that come and ask me about that. And so anyway, we had gone through this discussion, and she said, I'm definitely going to use a realtor because my friend down the street has owned his house for decades, and he came in and someone gave him $40,000 for it, and basically completely got swindled, and an investor basically swindled him and then turned around and flipped that house and got like $175,000 for it. And it just made me sick to my stomach. And so when I was posting and advertising for this sale, I posted on Facebook Marketplace, which goes to I posted to 10 different garage sale community groups just to advertise the sale. And just from the post that I made about the estate sale, not even the house, this was the estate sale. I haven't even listed the house. We haven't even discussed any of that yet. I got 24 messages from investors that thought that I was the owner of the house and wanted to talk to me about selling the house for cash. And they were just 24 in 3 days, 3 days. And at one point I turned around and I started calling them. I said, you guys are vultures. I said, y'all are vultures. And don't get me wrong, okay? I am not saying that investors are bad. I understand that investors rehab neighborhoods. They rehab houses that are eyesores. They bring value to the neighborhood because there's a lot of things that they can do that other people can't. And I also understand that there are investors who do things on the up and up. They give people a fair price for their home, and they turn around. They don't make a huge profit off every house. They do make money. They make enough to survive, but they're not making $100,000 off of a house because they've taken advantage of making a person feel like their home is worth less. So there's investors that are good. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about these guys. And one of them actually specialized in death and divorce. And I basically told him, because he didn't know I was a realtor, and I basically said, well, you should be happy because you're taking advantage of people in their most vulnerable time of life. I said, when I was going through my divorce, if you would have reached out to me like this, I would have been in tears, because the last thing that I want to do when I'm going through a divorce and all that stuff is have people bombard me and offer me pennies on the dollar for a house that I've lived in for the past 40 years. Like I was really angry because I don't appreciate the fact that a lot of these people are senior citizens that have put their money into, for the last however long, they put equity upon equity into these houses that have just gone up in value and appreciated in value. This is their retirement. This is how they're going to pay for living for the rest of their life. And these investors come in and they make it seem like their house is worth nothing, and it makes me sick. So I just wanted to do a video because just in Grand Prairie alone, so in this particular area, the comps that I ran in this neighborhood, because I just did a quick comp in her neighborhood, not one house in the past year has sold for less than $100,000. Now, I'm not saying backdoor deals. I'm talking about on MLS. These are houses that are cash. Even the ones that are baseline cash as is, the ones that need foundation work, the ones that need roof work, the ones that need AC, not one of them has sold for less than $100,000. So I'm telling you that because a lot of people, when they have lived in a house for a long time, don't understand how much their house is worth because they bought it for a really, really cheap amount. I encounter this a lot when it comes to people that live in like 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses, like their starter homes. If they've lived there 10 to 15 years or longer, and when I tell them how much their house is worth now, I've had people call me a liar. They're like, that's not true. My house is not worth that much. I said, yeah, it is worth that much. But I only paid like $60,000 for it. How could it possibly be worth $199,000? I said, because real estate goes up. And they go, yeah, it's not going to sell for that much. Whatever, you can list it for that much, and then we'll get $199. He's like, well, you're right. But that's what seniors think, is because especially if you bought a house in the 60s or the 70s, you might have spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 maybe on a house that much, maybe. Probably more like 20 or 30. So for me to tell you that your house is worth $120,000, $130,000, you look at me like I'm crazy. So that's why it seems appropriate that if you pay $20,000 and someone offers you 40, and the house, you know that the house has problems, like it seems like a good deal, but it's not. So what I'm not even talking to the senior citizens that I know are on my Facebook feed. I'm talking to their kids. I'm talking to their grandkids, okay? If your grandparents are getting to a point in their life where they're going to start wanting to think about downsizing their house, whatever you do, tell them they need to talk to a real estate agent. It doesn't have to be me, just a real estate agent, because you want to know what is a fair market price for your home. I find it very, very serious that I see, having done estate sales and having talked to people that are downsizing, how expensive it is to live in this country after you have retired and as you're getting on in life. I see that every single penny counts. I see that it's incredibly difficult to pay for a lot of the needs that they have. And every single penny you get from that house that you sell is the biggest asset that your parents or grandparents could possibly have. Do not let investors make you feel like this house is not worth it and think that it's easier just to sell it as cash and be done with it, because it takes almost the same amount of time to sell it online as it does to sell to an investor. Anybody that tells you, I can close in 10 days, I'll handle all your closing costs, blah, 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 blah. You can close in 30 days. You can still have your closing costs paid for. You can still pay a real estate agent, and you'll probably walk away with tens of thousands of dollars more than selling it to an investor. And that includes houses that you particularly feel like are falling apart, okay? So I'm sending this out there as a PSA because I want everybody to understand there is a difference between someone that's going to offer you a fair price and turn around and can still flip it. When I price my properties that are sold as is, I'm talking a fair market price for the work that needs to be done. I'm not talking about a fair market price that's more than what the house is worth. I'm talking about, because what I'll do is I'll turn around and I'll do the comps on a house that's completely updated. So I'll say, okay, well, the lowest price houses in this area are going for is $87 a square foot. But that house, you see this house and this house and this house, they're all going for $145 a square foot because they've been flipped. So we start to do the math. Okay, well, that's a huge difference in square foot pricing when you consider that houses are 1,500 square feet. So someone could still buy a house at a fair price, still turn around and flip it, and still turn around and make a profit. But I'm not concerned about the profit that the investor makes. I'm concerned about the equity that you're getting as a person that's selling your house in your older age especially, and to make sure that your equity that you have paid into your house for is there for you to use when you need it in your later years in life. I find that very, very important. It's very important to me that these people that are older get well taken care of, that their kids can take care of them, and that starts with making sure that they're getting fair prices for their homes, guys. It's so important. So just wanted to let you know that. Have a wonderful Sunday. Thanks for listening to my rant. I hope this helps you.